Okay, this time we'll take a look at some of the features that you have in the live hangout. So we'll start up at the top with a recap. We have this toolbar that will disappear if you don't do anything, and then it'll come back as you hover over it. And it's got the invite over on the left side. When you click on that, it lets you invite people through Google+. I can't give you much insight on that. I don't use that feature. This is the mute, and you can tell when you mute that the sound meter goes down. Next is the camera. You can turn the camera on and off, and whenever you turn it off, it's going to show your icon. So whatever icon you have on your Google Plus page, which is somewhere over here, so whatever this icon would be the icon that is going to show up on the screen when you turn off your camera. When you turn your camera back on, it's going to show your webcam, and I just happen to have a sticker on top of my webcam, which means I never have to worry about my webcam accidentally turning on. It's always got that sticker there, so you're just seeing the light through that sticker. Then we have the bandwidth. So if you have a poor internet connection or trouble with your computer or any other number of issues, you can turn down your bandwidth, and you can go all the way down to audio only. It'll automatically turn off your camera and use much less bandwidth, and typically give you a much clearer sound or volume going out and intelligible audio coming back to you. If you have decent internet or you're on Wi-Fi or something and it's got good internet, you can just leave that on high. Next is the settings, and you can switch to multiple webcams. So if you have a webcam built into your laptop like this one, or if you have a webcam that's plugged into the USB or some other device that acts as a webcam, it would be listed here in a drop-down menu, and you could toggle between them even during the live show. So if you want to switch from a webcam that shows from your laptop, and then you want to switch over to a webcam that you have directed down at a table or something, you can do that. Next would be the microphone, and again, if you have multiple webcams hooked up, you probably have extra microphones, or if you just have other microphones for any number of reasons, they're going to be listed here. Next, you'll have their speakers. Same situation, depending on how many speakers you might have, you can choose them all here. This last one is to leave the call, to end it. So if you are the person who created the call and you leave it, it will, I think you just leave. I'm not sure if it actually ends the broadcast until a certain amount of time has lapsed without you returning. But if you're just a person who's joining a call, this is one way to leave the call. You could just close the browser window, but this, I guess, disconnects you intentionally. So that's a way to hang up on the call or leave the call. So that's your toolbar across the top. We have an indicator over here that tells us when we're online or when we're live. Right now we're off air. We have not hit the button yet. When you hit the button to start broadcast, you'll get a countdown timer for about 10 seconds, and then it'll go live. You'll also get an indicator down here with a little red light that says that you're on air. Once you hit the button to go back off air, that's all there is. It ends, and the live event is over, and the live portion renders into a video over on YouTube. The room itself stays alive and active. In fact, this link at the top will stay active indefinitely. You can always go back to this room and hang out in it. However, it'll never go live again. So it's just an empty room that will always exist. And if people join, up to 10 people could join and talk and use all the features, but it'll never be live again. So it'll just be a private conversation. That's just a feature of it. I don't think it was intended to be used that way, but it's just trying to give you an idea of how the Hangout works. So you start the Hangout, and one thing to mention there, let me finish through. You're going to start the Hangout, then you're going to start the broadcast. When you're done, you're going to end the broadcast, and at that point there's nothing else you can do. It has become a video, and you can stay in the room, but there's no way to start the broadcast again. Now, as far as starting the broadcast, we started this window here. I'm going to go ahead and close it. We started it from YouTube in the live stream area on the events section, and we started the new event. We scheduled it for a time in the future. When that time came, we clicked on the button to say Start Hangout, and that's where this window comes from. we need to be the first one in this window. If we were to take this link and copy it and then close this window and then send this link to people on the internet like we did here, and then someone else was to come along and join that room before we had a chance to jump in, it is a glitch. I don't think they intended that, but it would not enable this button. You would never get this button back. So just a FYI, you always want to be the first one into the room if you are going to go live and initiate the hangout. So I usually try to open the room first, get in here, then I put the links out. As long as you're in the room first, you can leave the room and come back. That's not a problem. It's just that you have to be the first one in the room, and basically the first one. You can have other people in the room, but you need to be the one that's first when this green button actually happens. When it's doing that little countdown timer, you need to be the first one there. Alright, next up is the menu on the left here. We have quite a few items here. We have the chat bar that when you click it, it's going to toggle open and closed. The chat bar is for the people that have entered the chat room that you're in here. So you can type stuff in here and they can read it. And it's just a way to keep on task, or to let people know you have something to add to a conversation, or they want to mention something at a break, or any number of notes you might want to leave to each other. The next thing down, we'll toggle that back off. The next thing down is the screen share. So we're going to share our monitor, either the entire monitor or some subset of what we have open on our computer. So right now I have a notepad open, I have the YouTube Hangouts window, this thing here. Then I have the Google Hangouts back here somewhere, that window open. There's that, well then this is the notepad that's open. So it's seeing all these different items that are available on my computer, and it's going to let me isolate one of them. So I'm going to go to Notepad, and now it's going to share what's on this notepad here. Now if I want to go in, and you can see it on the screen here. So right now I'm the only one in here. If there were multiple people in the room, it's possible that it might toggle over to their window. So as the person who's running the show, I would go over and lock onto my screen, and that would make my screen the one that gets projected out to the audience in the stream. So first I'm going to tell it that I know that I'm screen sharing and that I want it to hide that. So I don't need it to, that way you can see the start button and everything again. It'll always give me this warning at the top that I'm screen sharing. But now you can see that the notepad is there. So if I want to go over and add something to the notepad, it's having a little trouble rendering, it looks like. If I want to come over here and add something to the notepad, you see that it's not only happening in the notepad over here, but it's being mirrored on the screen. So if I wanted to change that, I could click on the screen capture again, and I could change it to the entire screen, and now we'll get one of those echoing mirror type effects, because it's just showing itself inside of itself inside of itself. We'll toggle that off and on again, and now we'll flip over to the Google Hangouts window. Well, no, let's go to the Google Hangouts window should just be, oh, it's its own window, so it's going to do that same thing with the mirroring. So you get the idea. If you wanted to share a presentation with everyone, if you needed to share a document that you're working on or a photo album, you could do that, and it's very crisp and clear. It's unlike having to hold a camera up to a computer screen. It's just showing them the same pictures that you see on the screen. We have something here called Cameraman. I don't know what that is, so I won't be able to talk about it. And then we have the control room. We normally have one other app that's missing here. It must have been when this computer turned on. It's a new computer. Something's not installed yet, so I'll leave that out. But that's called the control room, I think. Or no, it's called the toolbox. And inside of that you've got some things like some volume controls and some special effects like an applause and cymbals and some things you can play with. on the screen. So we'll look at those in a second video or in a subsequent video. Till then, give us some feedback. We won't be watching the feedback on these YouTube videos more than likely, so give us the feedback over in gun chat. The idea here is to teach everyone some of the techniques that we use running these live shows, a little bit of the behind the scenes and what's involved, so that it's a little less confusing or intimidating, and hopefully encourage some people to get on and contribute to the collective conversation about firearms. So again, thanks for watching.